start, Kritika?
Okay, shall we start now?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. On the third day of this online journey, I, Kritika Gulwani, along with our host, Dr. Satnam Ubeja, on the behalf of Prestige Institute of Management and Research, would like to welcome you all in a very intellectual e-student development program based on future guidance and practices for students in the turbulent times. This is an interactive session and we encourage you all to send in your questions anytime through question answers chat box or through YouTube live section. We will ask the questions in the end. Prestige is a premier institute started in 1994 by a visionary and legendary entrepreneur, Padma Shri awardee Dr. N.N. Jain, with an aim of providing growth-oriented professional education and training. The institute works on the principle of self-financing with necessary initial financial support by provided our founder, Dr. N.N. Jain. Under the guidance of Dr. Yogeshwari Phatak as a director, since 2009, the institute has a permanent affiliation with Devi Ahilya Vishwavidyalaya. The institute has been accredited twice with Grade A NAC UGC. The institute offers courses which includes BBA, BCA, MBA full-time besides PhD in management. And today we have a distinct pleasure to have this much awaited conversation with a woman who holds a mission of providing guidance to the students' education and for their better education. She is the founder of University Leap, an eminent education consultancy in New Delhi, with 6 and more years of experience for career guidance. She is a master's degree holder in psychology from University of Manchester, UK, and a certified counselor by UCLA, UK. She has a track record of successfully placing students to top universities like Harvard, Stanford, UC Berkeley, Oxford University, etc. Considering the situation of rising mental pressures on the students regarding their future and career, we are very lucky to have you, ma'am, with us on this journey. We look forward to have an enlightening conversation with you. From the whole Prestige family, a heartily welcome to Ms. Sakshi Mittal. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Kritika, for that wonderful introduction, and a very good evening to everyone, and thank you for joining this session. So I'd like to start by thanking PIMR for inviting me to this wonderful session. I think it's great what they're doing for their students in these turbulent times. It's a much needed thing. And secondly, I would first like to acknowledge that I hope everybody attending this session today, you all are safe, your families are safe. These are absolutely uncertain times that we've been going through. And I really hope that all of you are doing very, very well. So today's session is particularly focused on how you can plan your career more efficiently during these times. Well, career planning has always been very, very important, not just during these times, but otherwise also. But yes, given this current situation, it even becomes much more important for us. Now, the reason being that a career is something which stays with us for the rest of our lives. Most of you are in college in your first, second, third year, final year, or you might be a student who's just passed out of school. So I'd like to tell you that you'll stay in your careers for the next 30 to 40 years of your life. So it's very, very important that you plan it efficiently. And with the recent development that has been, there have been a lot of changes, and all of us need to just be sure that we are prepared to face that change. So one thing I would want to assure that after today's session, each one of you will at least take back some tips, some tools, some techniques to be successful and to plan your career efficiently. So to start with, I'd firstly like to say, don't panic. I know that there has been a lot of talk about that the economy is going down, there'll be no jobs left, our degrees will go waste. Already there was a time where people were not getting jobs, and after this pandemic we are not going to get any jobs. Now, what's exactly going to happen? Nobody knows this. But what I'd like to say is nothing good can come from panicking. To start with, don't panic. You are a lucky lot. Right now, you're just in college, you've not entered the job market. So, we can work on you. We can work towards how you can assure that each one of you can develop a good career, get good jobs, get into good institutions. So, that's something that we'll make sure of today. So, before starting the session, I'd like to say the most important thing is motivation. Now, any adverse situation that comes in our life, there are two ways to take it. Either we can get demotivated, demoralized, make an excuse that, all right, this has happened, so now, we can do nothing better. Or we can make the most of the situation, look at it in a positive manner, and do our best. So, I would want you to focus on the second part, that's the positive part. Because half your problems in life are solved once you are positive. So for students, I see that a lot of students nowadays are losing motivation. Of course, we are in a lockdown. Most of the work, schools, everything is functioning online. So the biggest problem that has happened is that we've just decided that we are on a summer break. Well, let me tell you that we're not on a summer break. We're just on a pause. So something motivating that all of you should do is that make sure that every day you are getting up like you have to go to college. Nobody is asking you to wake up at a 6 a.m. or a 7 a.m., but a decent time where you can wake up, you can get ready. That's very important, because what happens is when we are in our pajamas the whole days, even our brain goes into a mode of vacation and we are not productive. So that's something that I would like each one of you to do. Wake up every day and plan your day as if you're in a college. So that's going to really help you. That motivating factor is going to really help you to shape your day, to learn something new, to plan about your future. Because like I said, remember, this is not a summer break. It's just a pause in the entire system, which is soon hopefully going to get lifted on, and we have to move ahead. So you have to utilize this time to learn new things, to plan your career ahead, to know that what is that you can do to develop yourself. Now, a lot of students tell me, ma'am, I get bored. This lockdown has made me so bored. Well, I say that boredom is the best thing. As long as you are getting bored in life, that means you want to do something new. And if you look at the past, the major inventions, all the major developments that great people have done have come out of boredom. So that's one thing that I would want all of you to be motivated, that starting from today itself, we are not going to sit in our pajamas the whole day. If we are doing that, we are not going to binge on Netflix the entire day, but we are going to make our lives more productive. So now in today's session, I'd like to cover it in two, three aspects. I'll first start by telling you all that how has the current pandemic affected the careers that are there today, how the job market has changed because of it. And second part, I'll give you the solutions that we as students, what all we can do to make sure that we remain relevant in the job industry and what we can do to develop ourselves. Now, number one, how has the work changed? How has the entire life of each one of us changed? Technology has had the biggest impact today. No one had thought that entire schools, entire colleges, entire workforces are going to be working from home. We had never thought that this is going to happen, that from teachers to students to parents who used to get scared of exploring new technology, everybody today knows how to use a video call, how to use Zoom. Companies, in fact, like Google, Twitter, they've made it compulsory. They've in fact given it a choice for their employees to work from home for lifetime. So we have to understand that the technology is going to remain. Work from home is going to become the new norm. So that's something that we have to prepare ourselves for. Now you will see that the biggest of the companies, the biggest of the business leaders, the most successful people who are there, the reason sometimes they fail is because of 7 words. They think we have always done it this way, so we don't want to change ourselves. And this saying implements to all of us, that from today we'll have to make sure that we reinvent ourselves, we transform ourselves. We cannot run away from technology, the latest skills that are needed. I'll give you a small example. Some long years back, there was a company called Blockbuster. At that point of time, they had gotten a deal to take over a $50 million company, which we call as Netflix today, that streams videos, and we all use it. So at that point of time, Blockbuster thought that it's absurd that nobody is going to use such a platform wherein you can just stream anything. And today we all know that Netflix is a multi-billion-dollar company. So at that point, a big company like Blockbuster had thought that the way they are doing things is how it's going to always be, and they lost such a huge deal. Same thing happened with Nokia. With the phones, they never developed it. They always thought that this is how things are going to be. And today we don't even hear of Nokia. Similarly for Kodak, the cameras that they had made, they always thought that people are going to click photos in a traditional way. They forgot that technology is coming and each one of us is going to be working with a camera on our phone. So unless and until you are ready to adapt, ready to change, ready to accept technology, things are not going to work in your direction. In fact, previously when I used to take career counseling sessions, 15 minutes I used to dedicate to the fact that in the next 5 to 10 years, a lot of, in my second point, like I say, a lot of employees are going to get laid off due to technology, due to artificial intelligence. But thanks to this pandemic, if something positive has come out of this, technologically India has moved 5 to 10 years advance. The things with, I have seen small business makers to coaching centers to teachers who've never had a website, who were always shying away from using tools and technologies, they have also started using it. So that's something that we all need to keep in mind. Work from home is going to be there. And for most of you who will be entering the job market, this is something that you all will have to deal with more and more companies giving this option. And laying off, जहां तक उसका सवाल है, a lot of you were asking me that will we get laid off, will this have an impact on campus placements? Yes, we are not going to lie, to some extent there will be an impact, but more of an impact will be the reason that many students are not employable, which means if you see this part, they don't have the relevant skills that companies are looking for nowadays. That's the problem. We've had a BBA, BCA, MBA degrees, but जो workplace में skill चाहिए, which the companies need, we are lacking those skills. So in a bit, I'll talk to you about what those skills exactly are. So yes, apart from technology, the biggest impact is going to be employees getting laid off due to artificial intelligence. I mean, today we have softwares, we have tools and technologies for which we don't need so much of workforce. Even I'm not from a accountancy background or a finance background, but softwares like QuickBooks have made it so easy for me to raise my invoices, to do any accountancy work. So because of that, yes, there are going to be layoffs, but at the same time, there are going to be 100 more avenues that are going to open up. So that's what you have to focus on. Remember, focusing on the positives, that what new avenues are going to come up. If you think that the obsolete ones are going to get off, but due to technology, new avenues are also going to come in. And the biggest thing that comes from work from home and this technology is rise of the gig economy. Now, what exactly is a gig economy? Now, research has said that for your generation, you will at least be switching out 8 to 10 jobs in your lifetime. So I've heard a lot of students tell me that, ma'am, I'm interested in management, but at the same time, I'm also very good in graphic designing. And also my fluent English is very good. So can I not get into something that I can use all of this? Yes, in today's time, you can. Because the gig economy means that less and less companies want to have full-time employees. They want to hire people on project basis. For example, a company who's just starting up, they want to have their website developed. So any of you out there who are good in making websites, or if you think you can learn it, you can take up a short project for say a month in developing a company's website. At the same time, if you feel that you're very good with say spoken English, you can while you are doing graphic designing and web designing, you can also go and teach children, you can go and teach foreigners who want to learn English. So that gig economy is going to have a very, very big impact. Hence, we have to make sure that we are not having a linear way of education wherein we just have a single skill. More and more companies want people who can do a lot of things. If I'll give you a small example, if I hire counselors for my company tomorrow, I wouldn't want that they are just good at one thing, that's counseling. Of course, that's very, very important, but I would want that they, at the end of the day, have some knowledge about, say, social media also, some IT tools also, because in a time like today, if my counselors don't know how to operate on webinars, on Zoom sessions, then they don't do anything good for me. Hence, you have to have a lot of skills on your hands. You don't have to know everything, but just having one skill also will not help you. That's the rise of the gig economy. And lastly, acceptance of online education and e-learning resources. Now it becomes very easy with most of the colleges holding online classes, that even if you are sitting at a town in your house where there are not a lot of colleges, you can still attend all classes of an institute like say PIMR, because everybody is going online, right? And more acceptability is going to come out of online education. So that's something that's great for you all, because you can learn so much online today. Now, moving on to the fact that what you as students, these are everything that I've told you, that how the work culture will change, how careers will change. Now the next question comes to that, how is that you as students can prepare? First and foremost out of this would be, plan your careers efficiently. That's the first and the foremost important things. It's very, very sad to know that for a lot of students, when I ask them that can you just name 15 careers for me, most of them stop after 7 or 8 careers. Ma'am, there is law, there is doctor, okay, MBA. In fact, a lot of students say, ma'am, IIT. I said, IIT is a college, that's not a that's not a career option. Tell me, what do you want to do? So that's a sad part, that we don't research much. So coming back to the points which we had discussed previously, there are going to be a lot of new options. So you have to think in a direction, not just from today, but since most of you are young, what's going to be relevant 5 years from now? Planning your career efficiently. Start with a self-assessment, that what am I good at? What are my skills? In college, what sort of activities have I participated in? If I have volunteered, for example, in organizing a college festival, did I think that I managed the finance part very well? Or was I very good in organizing everything? Or was I very good at the marketing part? Think about it, that what are my skills? What am I good at? What is that I really, really enjoy? Can I see myself doing this job or that job? Because the worst thing you can do to yourself is get into a job that you don't like. So after you've done a self assessment as to what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, each one of us is very different. No two people can have the same skill, right? We all know what happens when you don't try to put in the wrong skill, or what happens when Karan Johar tries a hand at acting instead of making movies. Things don't go well. All right, so that's what we have to imply for ourselves as well. So after you've done that self assessment, next is you can research, yes, now these are my strengths. Playing to my strength, what are the career options that I can have? What are the new careers that have emerged? Then you can search about what are the top colleges for it, which institutions should I attend. Now talking about technology, it becomes very important for you to go to a college which has the latest tools, technologies, which is implementing a lot of technology in their curriculum. So that becomes very important for you. And then you take the decision as to what kind of a job I would want to have in a future. So self introspection is something that's very important. So that part is planning your career with a lot of research, not on random thoughts ki my friend is doing that, I saw, somebody who's in my family, just because, they did a computer science course and got a good job, doesn't mean that the same will happen for me. So evaluate yourselves. That's the first part. Now the second part is updating our knowledge and skills through various means. This includes things like internships, things like online courses. Now, I can assure you one thing, after this pandemic is over, for most of you who will be sitting for placements, or even after a year, if you're going to be applying for jobs, any human resource people, any HRs, if I am the HR of a company, I can assure you that this question will pop up in your interview, that how did you utilize your time during the COVID? Saying that I rewatched an entire series like Game of Thrones is not going to help you. Nobody is stopping you from doing that, but I can assure that every HR is going to ask you, how did you utilize your time? Why? Because that shows the HR that how you respond to adverse situations. Do you take it up as a challenge, or did you just get laid back and just get demotivated? That shows the HR how you are as a person. And tomorrow, if an adverse situation comes in our company, is this person going to make the most of it, or is this person just going to get laid back and make excuses? Oh, because this happened, I could not do that. So updating your knowledge and skills is very, very important. Now, excuse me, some skills that are going to become very, very relevant in today's time and in the coming times: communication skills, leadership qualities, networking is something I like to focus for my graduate students the most. A lot of times I hear students say that, ma'am, job nahi mil rahi hai, I'm not getting the job. I applied through naukri.com to 50 companies, but I haven't gotten a single call back, or I've just gotten a call back from, say, a very small company which is not paying me very well. The reason is we don't network well. Networking means that attend as many webinars, as many workshops that industry leaders are doing, so that you make a personal rapport with them. Be sure you're on LinkedIn. My next slide is in fact going to cover that, because I see a lot of students who are still in college, they haven't, we are all on Instagram and Facebook, but LinkedIn, which is the single most important platform for getting jobs, we are not there. So make your accounts on LinkedIn. Network with the people who you think that can help you get jobs. Network with HRs. That's going to become very, very important, right? Then analytical skills, problem solving skills, especially creativity. Now, last time I said that, artificial intelligence is going to take up a lot of jobs. But what machines today cannot do, at least for now, we haven't developed such a technology. They cannot be creative. They cannot strategize. They can do the work for you. But companies now are looking at people who have more and more ideas, who can be creative with everything. Creativity doesn't mean that you have to be very good at, a lot of times you mistake it for that you have to be good at a painting or drawing. Creativity can be a lot of things. Creativity can come from even a person who is in the finance department, who has a creative idea as to how we can take our services more creatively to our clients. So creativity is very important. Interpersonal skills, how you deal with other people, how you deal with your own emotions, how you regulate them. These kind of skills are very, very important. Now, coming to some specific tools. Now, this slide particularly is very, very important. If you want to, you can go ahead and take a screenshot as well. Now, these are tools which in today's time are of the utmost important. And I can assure you again that if you are relatively good with these tools and you put it in your resume, you tell an HR during an interview that you are good with these skills, I can assure you that in getting a job, it's going to make a lot of difference. Starting with the number one, video conferencing. Like I said, work from home is here to stay. We'll need to work on computers for a very long time. So you all should be knowing how to be on platforms like Zoom, Google Meet, Skype, Namaste, Blue Jeans that are there. I know that this is something most of you are very capable of handling it. But for people who've still not gone through these applications, it's a must today. Any company, I will not hire anybody who doesn't know how to operate on a Zoom properly. Or if I conduct a Zoom interview with you and I see you struggling with a basic thing like Zoom, you're likely not to get hired for that. Next, time management. In my opening session, I had spoken to you about that how we are getting demotivated, we are spending our entire days not being productive. Time management applications today are becoming very important. Things like rescue times, things like Serene, these applications. Now, what they do for you is that if you install them, they're going to actually tell you that in your entire day, even if you thought that you were doing those assignments or attending some webinar or classes, that how much time you're actually spending on things like Facebook, on YouTube, on unproductive apps. So this is something that really helps you. Next comes team management softwares like Monday, Lark, Asana. Again, work from home becoming so prominent, companies would want you to know this. Now, after the session today, I would want each one of you to take this week's time, log into all these applications, test them out so that you can put it in your resume that you know how to use this app. For example, I'll quickly show you how monday.com looks like. So this is a team, it's a team application. In fact, a lot of you can use it for your group projects, your assignments as well. For example, there is an online course I'm soon starting. So I can have that, what are the tasks that I want to do? You know, have I started it? Have I worked on it? Am I already done? What's the due date? What's the priority like? So a lot of such things are what you can do on these apps, and this can be very beneficial for you as well. Then besides that, Canva, something like graphic designing, which I was talking to you about, having such a small skill can give you a lot of edge. So Canva is a software, even if you don't know Photoshop and things like AutoCAD, you can easily make graphics. In fact, you can use this tool to make your presentations, to make your resume. So it's a must try. Now, any company that you tell them that I'm proficient in Canva, and even if you're applying for a marketing job, an advertising job, any job, that's the instant moment you get a edge over there. Then your online presence today becomes very important. We've been talking about online so much, but what about our own presence online? So it becomes very important. And by online presence, I don't mean mean just things like posting our selfies and vacation pictures, but actually being present, showcasing our skills on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, via YouTube. So that you are publicly present over there. And research has in fact said that in some time CVs are going to become obsolete. What a lot of people now are doing is they make their own personal website. You see these applications like Wix, Shopify, WordPress. Recently, again, like I said, I'm not from a tech background or any background like that. I'm from a pure humanities psychology background. I was able to make my website in 2 days with this wonderful app called Wix. It's got templates made. So for all of you out there, each one of you can make your own website. It, I think, costs just 400 rupees for a whole year's hosting, where you can have your own website by your own name, and you can start building your portfolio. Any volunteer activities that you did, any competitions that you won, you can post your pictures over there. Any internships that you've taken, what are your hobbies, how you can contribute to that. So now you see, when you make something like that, you send it with a job application to a HR. Not only the HR is able to see all your achievements, which a single page resume or a CV cannot give, they'll also be seeing that you have an additional skill, that's website making, that's creativity, that's a lot of design thinking. So that's something that you can do. Now, coming to the next thing, that's freelance work. You remember I spoke about the gig economy. So gig economy is where we have a lot of skills and we can use that because people are looking at project-based things. So websites like Upwork, Fiverr, freelancer, youth for work. Even while you are in college, you can actually go and start earning. So that's the benefit that you'll get from there. And now the last two are the most important, in fact, internships and online courses. I'm sure there are a lot of MBA students here. I was talking to some before. The amount that an internship or doing something practically that can teach you, nothing can teach you more, right? If you're talking about all these apps that I have spoken to you about, just being in an internship right now can, teach you so much. Now I know a lot of you will ask that how do we go to some other office right now with the current situation? Mind you, there are a lot of virtual internships. Like I said, everybody is working online. So go to websites like Immerse, Internshala, Let's Intern, 2019. It could be any sort of an internship that you're interested in. In fact, internships are a single most useful technique to know that what you actually like. Because a lot of times students tell me, ma'am, we've still not figured out what we like. We like A also, B also, C also. So unless and until you don't do it, you won't get to know what you actually like. So use these platforms to actually teach yourself practically and know that what you like. Next is the most wonderful thing. That's the online courses, or also known as MOOCs. That's massive open online courses. Now, today, sitting here in India, by just going on Coursera, you can learn from a Harvard professor the same things that they are teaching in that classroom. Now, it could be anything at all. It doesn't always have to be linked to what course you are doing. Any small skill it could be. It could be on improving your presentation skills, on your public speaking skills. It could be something that is course related. When you go on these websites, you can imagine that there is absolutely everything that you can learn. It could be ranging from learning how to play guitar to paint better. In fact, I spoke about that, how each one of you can make your own website. You'll have short courses for 400 or 500 rupees that will actually teach you how to make your own websites. In fact, a lot of courses out here are absolutely free. So that's something that you should be doing. Each one of you should be doing. So I want a promise from all of you that when you go back today, again, if you want, you can take a screenshot of this screen and try out all these apps. And I can assure you, after trying them out, when you add it in your resume, in your list of skills, that these apps, these are going to help you a lot. Now, moving over that, like I said, that knowledge and skill is very important. Next is to be available on LinkedIn. That's the single most tool that's going to help you find jobs. And network a lot. Network with your prospective recruiters via events, online events, through LinkedIn, by adding them. Now, this is a solution that I've given you, and I can see some questions that are popping up, which we'll take in a while. Before we do get to the questions part, one last thing amongst this that I would like to cover is, what are some of the in-demand futures that are coming up in the future and that are there to stay for the next, say, 10, 20 years. Of course, medical professionals and nurses. The only thing that we've realized after this pandemic is, anytime in the future, there could be an outbreak, there could be any other medical emergency. So medical professionals are here to stay. Besides medical professionals, you'll be surprised to know that nurses and caretakers as well. That's going to be a next most in thing. The reason being that because of technology, our lifespan is increasing. It's said that in a couple of years, people will go on to living up to 100 or 120 years, right? So we need nurses, a lot of professionals for them. Biotechnology is something that's coming up. The use of technology, in the medical field. In fact, I was reading it yesterday that now they've come up with a thing, with a machine, which is like a surgery machine, that if you have it in India, a doctor who's situated in USA can actually control it via computer programs and operate it for a person in India. So that's the kind of technology we are coming up with. So any sort of technology in the field of medicine, that's really, really, really upcoming. Then mental health professionals, life coaches, with so much going on, we have stress, anxieties, increased divorce rates. So all you students out there who's from the psychology background, or any such background wherein you feel that you can actually coach somebody, that's really, really upcoming. And the good thing about all these careers that I'm talking about today, a lot of it can just be done by, attaining skills online, rather than just even having a formal degree. Of course, for something like a medicine or something, you'd have to have a formal degree right from your undergrad level. But a lot of programs, a lot of these career options are something that you can teach yourself. Then data sciences and data analytics, we are data driven today, so that's something that's going to be here to stay, to analyze data, to as to how people behave, to predict the future. Then things like anything related to the environment, environmental specialists, environmental planners, this is an industry that's going to be very big. Then, needless to say, technology, any developers who can write programs, any IT people, any mobile app developers, this is something that's here to stay. And a lot of times students ask me that even if I'm not from a computer science background, can I still do can I still do web development? Sure, you can. Definitely having a computer's background is going to help you a lot, but still you can teach yourself that. Then business managers and financial managers. Now, these business managers, we don't need clerks who can do data entry jobs, who can just do accounting on paper, but we actually need efficient business managers and trainers who have leadership qualities, who have communication skills and things like that, so that you can actually train people very well. Then lawyers, with so many legal compliances coming, lawyers and virtual lawyers is going to be something that's going to be very big. Then digital marketing, I have been saying everything is going digital nowadays. Even from a small home baker to a big company, everybody today wants to have a social media page. So that's an area that you can explore. Next is creative careers. Anything that's creative, right from your fashion design to interior design to
Heading to Pooja.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have some questions to ask. Like, first is like we always hear about self-assessment,
yes.
but we even don't know how to do a self-assessment.
All
We
right.
always find some qualities which are not related to the corporate world.
Mhm.
So what we can do that time?
All right, so that's an excellent question, that how you can evaluate yourself. So, I'll divide this into two parts. One is the self-assessment part. Okay, how you can do your self-assessment. The best thing that you can do into that is always, make an introspection diary. You can list out that since my high school till now, what are the kind of activities I have been interested in. And you'll always see ki, whatever we do, there is always a pattern into it. Because from an early childhood till we, develop into an adult, if you go back and see into your life, the kind of activities you like doing, the kind of books you, like to read, the kind of, maybe it can be also the kind of vacations you want to go into, you always see a pattern. You'll see a pattern that am I more inclined towards creative things, or I like more of a, logical kind of a thing. Do I like to be around people or not? Do I like to talk to people or not? So now these are the same things you will be able to apply to your job. That for a person, if they don't like, if you find yourself that, I don't like talking to people, then probably you shouldn't be getting into a job also that involves talking too much to people. Or if you find yourself in a
Yes, ma'am.
position wherein you constantly need to be around people, then probably a job, say maybe like a financial analyst kind of a job, right, which involves you to be alone all the time, might not be very suited for you. So make a list of all your qualities, the qualities that you have, the kind of activities you try to do, and then make a list of the consequent careers. These are my skills. Now, what are the careers that can involve this skill? So that is where you search about different careers, right? That these are my skills and this is what this career can use. So that's something that helps you a lot. And then second part is you go for some professional psychometric tests, aptitude tests, and personality tests, which a lot of professionals hold. Even we do that, so you can get in touch with us. So that's the second part, that professionally you can take that. Before that also, I think that doing a self evaluation is important. And the part where you said that sometimes you feel that the skills we have are not relevant to a job, that's not always the case, because there is something called as a transferable skill. So now, for example, you might be participating in a lot of debates or MUNs or a public speaking event. Now you might feel that, how is this skill really relevant to a job that I am applying to? But like I said in the skills slide, that today you need a lot of communication skills, you need a lot of leadership skills, you need a lot of public speaking skills. So those are the transferred skills that you can apply to any job, especially if you're applying for a job, say into a marketing field. So that's your transfer skill that you can apply over. So that's I hope that answers the question to some extent for you.
Yes, ma'am. And the second question is, everyone is asking, like, if we are confused between two things, if we do this self-evaluation, if we evaluate ourselves, like, if we are confused between two things,
Yes.
two passions, two careers, that time, how can we find that one is perfect for us and one is not?
Again, an excellent question out there. So I'll give two answers to this. One is that you actually do the internships and see that which one of the two things is what you're liking. Because sometimes what happens is that, I, after all the evaluation, after all the tests, it might come so that, I'll be a good fit for, say, advertising also, and I'll be a good fit for, you can say, maybe a event management also. But when you actually do the work, because career is very much dependent on, yes, you have to have a liking for it, you have to have an aptitude for it, you have to have the personality for it, and the last part which comes is you should enjoy the work environment. So the best part is to do both practically and then see ki meko dono mein se which one is the one that I'm enjoying more. It might so happen that you might feel that, okay, event management is very apt for me, but once you've done the internship, you feel that there is too much field work into it, this is not for me. Because advertising has a little bit of field work, itna field work is still okay for me, but event management is having too much field work for me, this is something I can't handle. So that gives you a lot of clarity. That's first part. And the second part is you can still do both of them, which I spoke about in my gig economy part of a way. Believe me that in the next 4 to 5 years, you can have multiple projects. For example, even if you have a full-time job from Monday to Friday into one company, and say I have actually seen this, so I'll give you a classic example. I know somebody who's working in marketing, because that was a conclusion that came up, that she's very good in marketing, but at the same time she was really really interested in baking as well. So she started her little own baking thing, and on the weekends she used to just take orders for some cakes and all. So you can do both of the things at the same time. So there are two options: either you do both of the things at the same time by finding a solution in terms of getting small projects, or the second is you actually do that and then evaluate.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, you considering your second point, I want to ask one thing. So that for as per you, that one can be perfect in more than one thing, more than one career, more than one passion. Right.
Right.
I just want to. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, people take in multiple. It's very. In fact, that's a very linear way to say that I'll just be good at one thing. In fact, when we look at ourselves, each one of us are at least good at 4 to 5 things. So that's absolutely fine.
Okay. My third question is: do you think that this pandemic situation affect the campus placements or the job?
All right. So, to an extent, yes, I will not mince my words over there saying that layoffs are not happening, and I wouldn't want to give you a false hope. There might be, for the coming months, some effect, But to be honest, right now also we have not really been able to. There has been no statistics ki how much will it be affected. Reason being, if the pandemic kind of ends by say end of August or September, or we start seeing a downfall in the cases happening, then not so much right now. But otherwise, to an extent, it can. So again, what will happen is that companies would be picking up the best of candidates over there, right? So it's going to affect till some extent. So the solution to this is that students should not only be dependent on the campus placements. I know that the colleges are going to do everything they can to assure they can get as many companies for their recruitment drives, but even if that's not happening, you have to take some onus on you as well, right? And go on to LinkedIn, go on to other platforms and see. And second of all, start taking up small projects. That's really going to actually bridge that barrier. In fact, Facebook, if you go to, there are a lot of groups like freelance assignments, internships, wherein people are readily, saying that, okay, I am hosting this event and for 1 month I need some people to work with me. So you can do those kind of things as well. And regarding how
Okay,
much
ma'am.
will it affect, we really can't say it right now.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Ma'am, my last question,
Yeah.
which I personally wanted to know, like considering the situation of India, because of our parents and because of our society,
Mhm.
we doesn't get that opportunity to convert a passion into a career.
Mhm.
We wanted to convert our passion into a career, but we doesn't get any opportunity of that.
Okay, so are you
So
saying that
on the
opportunity in terms of that the parents don't agree with what you want to do really?
I'm actually no, I this question is not about me only.
No, I don't mean
I
you
have that
personally,
opportunity. I
in
have
general. In generally. So by this you mean
in generally.
opportunity in terms of you don't opportunity in terms that usually when a student says that I want to do this for my passion, parents don't agree, or you think you don't get enough platforms?
Parents don't agree.
Okay, so parents don't agree. So see, that has been a problem. And in fact, as professionals, we have been taking parent sessions separately. So what I've realized is, why parents don't agree to that is, at the end of the day, they want what's the best for you. They want a job security for you. Now, the only way you can, turn your passion into something like a proper career is if you convince them. Now, one day, if you just, wake up and tell them, okay, mommy, this is what I'll do, this is my plan. And, if you've not done anything about it in the past, then obviously sometimes parents can get a bit hesitant that, till today you've not done anything, what will you do now? So the only way is that right from your first year of college, if you have such a passion, do things into it, do internships, take up some small assignments, take up some small projects, and actually show them that I am doing well into it. Because if you show them some, see, I'm very good at that, I managed to ace 4 internships into this, I've already gotten some stipend, I'm already earning, imagine if I get into a full-time job after this. So you need to prove it to them. And second of all, sometimes it helps that you can make them talk to your teachers or any professionals so that they can tell them what the scope is about. So yeah,
Okay.
that's one way you can do it.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your wonderful answers of my questions.
So yeah,
Now I would like to call Dr. Satnam Obeja, ma'am, for a vote of
sure.
thanks.
Before actually vote of thanks, I just want to say I'm so sorry for the technical disturbance which is happening in the during the event, and it was just again there are some disadvantages of online also.
Correct.
So now, first of all, I would like to thank the management of Prestige Institute of Management and Research for giving me a wonderful opportunity to organize such a bright session of a career counseling for the upcoming young professionals of our nation. I'm immensely thankful to Dr. Yogeshwari Fatak, our director, for constantly guiding, motivating, and supporting us for organizing such an outstanding and thought-provoking event. Now, I would like to thank the main contributor to today's session, Ms. Sakshi Mittal, for such a enlightful session we have, for sharing such a career-oriented information that she has given. And with the help of the young participants of today's session can help their upcoming professional careers in a positive manner. Our esteemed institute, PIMR, would surely seek continuous support of Ms. Sakshi Mittal and forthcoming sessions too. I'm thankful to all team members, all student team members who made this event successful with their committed and dedicated efforts. Last but not the least, I am gratefully thankful to all the young and energetic participants and attendees who have shown their energies and willingness to learn about the career counseling to build up their future constantly, and the best wishes to you and your future, bright future. Thank you all. Thank you so much, and lovely session, ma'am. So much information you have.
You're very, very welcome. And ma'am, if you can just give me a second, I'd just like to share my contact details with the participants, that in case they need to come back with me for some questions, so they can, do so. So you can all maybe take a screenshot, and I think in the chat, let me just post my LinkedIn a LinkedIn ID so that you can connect with me. Sorry, just
Thank you so much for the information. I think students must actually they were wanted
yeah.
this information regarding your personal email ID and phone numbers, and you have given the such a wonderful information you have shared, and students have already I think they have got the answer of their queries.
Okay, great.
If they have any type of queries, so they can contact you directly.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your time and knowledge. And we really apologize for the inconvenience. I hope that the students got their answers and their queries solved, and they are with the solution right now. And tomorrow, the next session is on the same time with Dr. Vinay Kulkarni, HOD of DY Patil, Pune. You all will get your certificates after filling the feedback form at the end of the webinar. Thank you so much, all the attendees. We will meet at the same time tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.